It's Claire here, welcome to For Real. Where am I and what am I doing here? Well, last night, I should say very early this morning at about 2:30, a massive storm came through Siem Reap and it rained incredibly heavily for about 4 hours. I thought I'd come for a ride today and see how much water is still around. This is Salakam Road, if you know this area of town. Pom is behind me, so I'm heading out of town. And I'm just wanting to see how much water is still lying around. I do know that this road was cut off this morning due to the amount of water that was around from that rain. Well, as you can see here, there is a lot of water lying around. It's probably a good, 30 centimetres, 40 centimetres up into that building just in front of me there, and the one up the back is not faring much better. So I was just over on that side of the road where those kids are walking through the water before, and crossed to the other side. This road has a canal that runs down this side, and as you can see, it's pretty well overflowing. Now, looking at that water, it's impossible to tell how deep it is, and it's also impossible to tell if there are any potholes underneath that water, so you can imagine that riding through it would be quite dangerous. Although I suppose if you're trapped at that end and you need to go to work, there's not a lot else you can do. Here's the other side of the road. Look at this. It's broken its banks. Oh no. And further up that way, it's a dirt road anyhow, but you can see it's virtually impassable up there. Have a look at that. Wow. So I guess the important message here is that when you're looking for a place to live, you need to look at the place itself, obviously, in terms of whether it floods, whether you're on the ground floor, whether water's going to come into common areas, things like that. But you also need to consider access to and from the property. Are you going to be able to get in and out if there's a lot of rain? And once the water does subside, what kind of road are you going to be left with? Is it hideously muddy, or is it going to be slightly passable? Yeah, this whole area is under here. I can't even see where the roads are and where people's blocks of land start and finish. Look at this house. How cool is that? It's the 16th of October right now, and it is towards the end of the rainy season. And the problem with that is that we've had so much rain. Well, actually, we haven't had as much as we would normally have in a wet season, but there has been quite a bit of rain, and the ground becomes saturated to the point where when it rains like it did this morning, there's nowhere else for the water to go. There's absolutely no capacity in the ground for it to absorb any more water, so it just kind of has to sit on top until it can find a way to flow away, and that takes time. And you can see that roads like this, people just have to find the best path that they can through what's left of the dry spots. Here's a truck. Let's see how it goes. Bam, straight through the middle. Oh. Yep. It's always good to follow a local through things like this because you can see which part of the road they pick out to ride on and follow their lead through it. Alright, I guess it's my turn now. Have a look at that. It is really flowing just there. Look at it there. It's got quite a current to it. I'm pretending to film, but I'm secretly waiting for someone local to come through so I can see how deep it is. Alright, here's a contender. Let's see which way he goes. Will he go straight? Will he go right? Will he go left? Oh. Yep. That's pretty deep just there. Here we go. Oh, sister on a scoopy. Come on. It's not too bad. What about the zoomer? Can the zoomer do any better? Oh. Yep. Oh, pass out now. This is too much fun. Should set up a stall for beers here. Watch them go through. Look at the tiny wheels this thing has. Oh. Yep, safe. Doing it for the Honda Dream Team. Oh. That bit right there, just there, is really deep. Okay, this is Trev Market. And the entrance to this wing store is incredibly muddy. It just makes everything so much harder when it's like this. Yeah, his bike is regularly getting air. Got some lovely blue skies now. Wouldn't have believed that would be possible after the weather we had this morning, but good to see. It'll dry things out a little bit more quickly at least. I just wanted to show you this house here. They're taking flood mitigation to a whole new level with those stilts. Well, another thing we should talk about is swimming pools. In the wet season like this, when it rains a lot, and when the rain comes down in the amounts like it did this morning, it's very, very difficult to maintain water balance. So if you're living in a place with a pool, be prepared that for some of the time during wet season, it's probably not going to be swimmable, because it does take a lot of time after that to clean the water and to get it back to the right balance that it needs to be. Isn't this beautiful with the blue sky now? Another thing about the wet season is that it creates potholes where there were none before. That one there is absolutely massive, and it's got quite a steep drop on this close side. You wouldn't want to hit that in the dark. It would really send you flying off the bike, I think. These people have got a little river to cross to get to their property now. This is another problem that occurs with the way people are building right now. So people like to build these really solid fences, and the problem with that is that it doesn't allow the water to flow. So this White House on the right hand side would be fairly dry in terms of the grounds inside there, but it's just holding back a little lake of water here, and the same with that brick fence at the back there. Okay, that's a road in front of me right there. So here's another example of what happens when people build a wall. So on the left-hand side of it, it's just a lake, and on the right-hand side, it's probably relatively dry. You can't blame people for wanting to keep their properties dry, especially when it's a low-set house like this one. And given that there's nothing on this land on the left of it, I suppose that's what you have to do. And you can see that the poorer you are, the more likely you are to be living closer to the ground and in a low-lying area such as this. Wow, that is deep. And just beside that water to the left is this building here, and I noticed this on Facebook. It's actually for rent at the moment. It's a little cafe waiting to be occupied, and it is $300 a month, I believe, right here on Salakamurik Road, inside the ring road. It's really cute, and you can see you can have quite a bit of rain and it doesn't get flooded. Well, the buses appear to be safe. That's a good thing. So we are quite close to the centre of Siem Reap town, and there's still people living in a fairly rudimentary kind of way. And the point that I was making before, when you're poor, things like this just suck that little bit more than what they do when you're fortunate like we are. And my last stop, I didn't really intend to stop here, but I'm on Apsara Road heading towards Road 60, and I just thought I'd show you the canal on the side of that road in case you're familiar with it. It's usually a trickle. If there's any water at all, there's usually cows kind of walking in there, eating the grass. But not today. Today we have a lot of water in there. Thank you so much for joining me today for this look around in the wet season. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.